Good evening and welcome to another episode of Que-stead-Que. What you gonna do? I don't know, but something's gonna grow. Hey everyone, y'all know I'm starting off with the flower shots. I can officially say they're in full bloom now that I know that they die off after a day, and then the other blooms will probably open up on tomorrow. And once they all die off, I mean, I've got a ways to go here, but once they all die off, then that's it. And I never told y'all, I always keep this one. I keep the, the leafy part, and I keep the one down there. But once the flowers die off, the one thing I have done each year is I've taken the lawnmower, and each year I clean out this bed, and that's gonna be perfect because I may as well wait to put that weed tarp down, because that's going to allow me, once I cut all this leaf stuff out, I can get it cleaned out really well when it's all done, and then put my leaf tarp down. The next year when they come up, everything will be on the up and up. So it's looking bad now, but I'm gonna give it a little while. I might weed whack along, get these weeds out while they're blooming. We're not gonna look at the green beans and stuff. Everything's doing good. I looked at them earlier when I uncovered them. But yeah, I gotta get all this mess out of here. That cardboard, I kept that cardboard because I'm going to use it right along here, and then I'm gonna pull the cardboard that I have on the side of the greenhouse that's looking mighty rugged right now. But I'm gonna pull that cardboard down there too, and that's what I'm going to run along this part, and hopefully there'll be enough to run here. If not, I'll just get some more, and that way it'll serve as an extra weed barrier before I put that plastic down, because I plan to use the weed stakes for that. So once it's down, it'll be down. Then y'all know I'm gonna get behind the fence there on the side of both sides of the greenhouse. That wood, I'm gonna be using that. I just took it out of the greenhouse because it wasn't really helping anything right now, but it will later. And y'all heard my little triple boom song earlier. Look at here. Okay, peach tree, you're struggling. And I've decided I'm going to, well, y'all already knew, I'm eliminating the pear trees because they've gotten whatever that rust disease is. So that's my excuse for getting rid of them. So I will probably end up putting some fruit bushes in there because it is bigger than the crate. So it'll give me a couple of years until I decide exactly where the fruit bushes will go permanently, because everything's not going to fit into the keyhole garden. The only spot that's available really is like along the middle there by the honeyberries, and I want to give them a little bit of room to grow. And then this whole potato area will be bare in the next month or so. So I can get a few fruit bushes in there, probably 2 or 3 at the most. So yep, fruit bush here, fruit bush there, fruit bush there. And then I'm keeping the 2 cherry trees, and I am gonna still buy that itchy kimono or whatever that tree is called, persimmon tree, and that's going to come into the greenhouse. Okay, I came in and tidied up the greenhouse a little bit today because, first of all, it was smelling like straight up percolator in here, okay? That coffee I had in a bowl, I had to pour it back in the bag and seal it up tightly. This whole greenhouse, and now it's smelling like beer because let me put the top back on, that's the problem. Woo! But I'd rather the beer smell than that coffee smell. It was horrible. Look at my cucumber, y'all. He has reached the mountaintop here. Look at there. In just a few days, and I've got cucumbers galore coming off of it. So I'm praying that they grow and that the plant keeps right on thriving. I know we go through the plants every single day, but I can't help myself, y'all. Let's check the patty pan. I don't know if they took or not. We'll see. I've got another female coming right up the middle, so she's gonna get pollinated real soon here. 2 females coming. And then I've got a male there and then a male here that's about to get going. So hopefully this female will catch up to that male. Oh, there's a baby male too, right there in the middle. I didn't see that. But we will know in the next few days, because if these patty pans did not fertilize, they will fall off of the plant, dead. If they did, they'll begin to grow. Now this one right here looks like it's growing a little bit, but this one, I don't know. I just don't know. But it's gonna take a few more days before we know for sure. So we'll keep an eye on the patty pan. Okay, what else? Oh, my strawberry bloom is doing good. I've got 1, 2, 3 strawberries coming that I'm waiting on. And then that's a 4th one there. And then let's see, 1, 2, 3. Oh, here's one right here. 4, 5, 6. So this will be the first one that I'll be harvesting. I cannot wait to taste the pink strawberries. Okay, I went on and got my mint repotted. I cut it down today. Y'all should have seen that root ball. I planted that thing as a baby. You know, I bought it at Pelly's, a few weeks ago. It hasn't quite been a month yet, but just about. That root ball was almost as wide as this pot. That thing has really grown. And so I watered it real good and everything. I didn't cut anything off of it. You know, mints are resilient, so it will continue to thrive in that bigger pot, and it's deeper. That's what I like about this pot. Morris the mojito, look at that. Morris has reached the top there, so I'll be pulling those sticks out shortly. I'm gonna leave them there for now, but I'm gonna be pulling them out eventually to make room for the creeping rosemary, because it's starting to creep, y'all. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, let's come down here real quick. I've got another strawberry that's ready for me to put into root, but I have decided, look how I took to that. Look how I took to the crate, y'all. Yeah. Okay, thank you. All righty. That's my neighbor. Anyway, he came to borrow something real quick. Anyway, look how that strawberry took to the crate, y'all. So I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna see if it takes root. I'm gonna move, in fact, let me do it right now. Move the mulch to the side and see if it takes to that soil, because this is perfectly amended soil. So if it takes root, it's gonna stay. It's gonna stay. And then we got that one back there that's over there is made its way to the pepper plant. And then we got another one coming up. I am so thankful for these white pine strawberries. I might not get none this year unless they decide they're going to do something, because they can. I'll get a few if they do, but if not, definitely by next year. And I will have a lot more. And then this is going to be 2 right here, 3 actually. And then there we've got at least 1. So that's another 4 plants coming. Tomatoes are coming along really well, and I've got more flowers here on both of them. I haven't seen any Cherokee purples yet, but they'll come eventually. I'm probably missing them if they're on there. My one little ready green bean, and I'm gonna leave it in here. I'm gonna just leave it, and unless something starts happening, then I'm gonna just leave it there and see what happens with it. Oh, here's another one. Okay, I've got another one that's gonna be ready soon. And then there's some more back there. Here's one right here. And we've got flowers galore now that the slug has left it alone. So it'll catch up. So I'm gonna just leave the one that's ready. Unless when I do my veggie pack this weekend, because I took those 3 little peas that I harvested. Oh, and that pea plant didn't die like I had thought. It rained and that thing has come back and it has bloomed again. So I'm gonna get some more peas. But I used those 3 that I harvested last week, and I put them in my veggie pack, and they were good. So I might do the same with the green bean. See the French tarragon, y'all? See how it's just taking off? And the one in the front is even more taking off. So I'm gonna start cutting on this one some more, because it is really doing the job. Because I wanna make up some spice. And I do, you guys, I have a Presto dehydrator. I've only used it one time, And what I used it for was to try to preserve some ground cherries, because I had like a million of them, and I freeze dried, I mean not freeze dried, I dehydrated them, and they did good, but I obviously didn't get all the moisture off because they molded on me. I was so hurt. I lost a whole, it was like maybe 2 or 3 Ziploc bags full of ground cherries, and I lost every last one of them. So I'm not gonna try that again, because ground cherries will keep. My ground cherry harvest, I did get another harvest after I did the dehydrating last year, and I had a bowl full, and they lasted me clear up until New Year's Day. I ate the last of them on New Year's Day. So I'll do the same this year, give some away, whatever. But they won't go to waste like last year, that's for sure. Not like that one batch. And I might pull up on YouTube University about ground cherries, about preserving them. I know you can make ground cherry jelly. There are some other ground cherry things that you can make using them. And since I have all these plants this year, I'm gonna have probably quintuple of, because last year's came from just one plant. And right now I'm sitting up here with 6 plants, and they're all growing good and producing ground cherries. They're just not ripe yet. So I can't wait to start eating on them. And look at here, I did get my first raspberry on the other raspberry bush. It came out today, and I have another one right there. So I am very pleased with how these plants are doing. And y'all tell me to just stop it. Just say, Q, stop it, stop it, stop it, okay? Hold me accountable. I cannot keep my butt out of those potatoes because I am so worried that I'm not gonna get any. But today I feel just a wee bit better, because I went into the potato plant up front, way down on the other end. I've never checked those down there. And I checked to see if there were any potatoes there. I found a slew, okay? So that let me know. But one of them was going rotten, and I think that was the seed potato. And then I checked back here. I checked in some spots that I hadn't checked before, and I found maybe 3 more, right? And they were together, 3 potatoes together. So that lets me know that, okay, these potatoes have developed. So pruning them, taking those berries off, and hitting them with that next set of fertilizer worked. So I'm gonna leave them alone now, but y'all still tell me, Q, don't mess with those potatoes. Okay, I'm gonna leave them there. And then I watched another video today where the guy said that even once your plants die back, he said leave them another 2 or 3 weeks, because the potatoes will sometimes still get bigger, and it will allow them to get dry. Now, the one thing that I did notice, which gives me my excuse for messing with the potatoes, is the fact that hay was very wet, because we've been getting rain, okay? And I didn't know how wet that hay was underneath, how it was breaking down, that type of thing. It is so sopping wet under there. I cannot water. I refuse to water those potatoes anymore until that hay begins to dry out, because it could rotten out my potatoes. And that one that I saw that's beginning to rot concerned me, because I want to say that was the seed potato, but it could possibly be a potato that grew in there. That's the last thing I need, to pull up the plants, have a slew of potatoes, and they're all rotten, okay? So I'm gonna leave them alone. I'm not going to water them. You know, I'll just let them get water from rain, and we are expecting thunderstorms again tonight. We never did get them last night, shockingly enough. Ooh, but it is so humid. It's actually only 74 degrees in here again, like yesterday. And believe me, it feels like a sauna in here. And we are still at hell Celsius. We're at 89 degrees currently. And so I don't know what we hit today. I have to look at my little weather app, but I'm quite sure we probably hit 100 again on today for it to still be almost 90 outside. My air conditioner, what I've been doing is like last year, and it is working wonderfully for me. I'm running it all night, but I run it on 76, so it's not freezing cold in there, but it's comfortable running all night at 76. And it only kicks on once it gets higher than 76 in my home. So it only cuts on maybe 2 or 3 times during the night. And then in the morning when it starts to warm up, then it starts running. And since I have the phone control, you know, also on the thermostat, when I wake up in the morning, I just take the phone and I cut it down to 74. Between 73 and 74. Today it was 74 because it was hot when I woke up. So basically I do that, it runs, and then it cuts off once it's at 74. 3 o'clock, I turn it off, and it stays comfortable in my home with everything closed up until 7 o'clock when I can turn it on again and the rates go down. So that has worked great for me for the past 2 days. Actually, the first day I was like, forget this, I'm running this air, and I did. I ran it for an extra hour after 3 o'clock, and then I cut it off, and everything was fine. And then I turned it off, and then I didn't cut it back on until 10 o'clock that night. I just ran the fan, and I was fine then. So really, it balanced out with what I would be paying extra for running it during the peak time. But since then, I have not run it at all during the peak time. It goes off. Today, I actually turned it off 30 minutes before peak time because it was nice and cool in there. So I just turned it off, and it stayed cool. In fact, and I cut it back on late. It was about 7:45 when I cut that air back on. So now it's 9 o'clock p.m. It's getting dark, and like I said, it hasn't cooled off outside, and it's so humid in here. And you know, from the plastic, why am I hearing buzzing? I'm always hearing buzzing in here, but then I don't see anything. But anyway, it's just steamy in here. It's like a sauna. So I did cut the fan on, so that helped a little bit, and it stopped me from sweating. I have my water here, my mint water, and the plants, they're doing pretty good. I watered those, and they're doing really good, so they haven't stressed out any. And so next week, the heat wave is supposed to end. We'll be in the 80s, and that's usually our typical summer weather. And at that point, I can move the shade cloth back. I'll just move it back from the window like how it is now. I'll just move it back and tuck it back into the middle pole. That'll take only a few minutes. And then once I do that, then the sun will continue to come in on that, and the greenhouse will be well lit. I'll keep my strawberries and everything on the shady side. And so then the plants that can tolerate more sun will get more sun. And they're still getting sun, but they're just not getting as much sun. I would say that those plants are being blocked by at least 50 to 60% right now. And this is a 90% shade cloth. So these over here are being blocked 90%. Those are being blocked about 50% because I didn't bring it all the way down. But next week, I'll be able to let them get 100% of the sun. Yep. Alrighty, you guys, so we're at 18 minutes, so it's time for me to say good night to everybody. Grow joyfully. I saw your video today, and believe it or not, the beginning of your series, I had already done that. And I forgot to bring my book out. I have one smaller journal that I did exactly what you suggested today that we do as food preservers. And I did that. I dated everything. I wrote where it was. I write down my rotations because, you know, you have to rotate your preps. So I have my whole list there, but I need to revise my list because I've gone into some preps. Like, for instance, the butter I had all stocked is gone now. So I'm buying butter again. The cooking oil that I had stocked, but everything else I haven't gone into too much. I just rotate, and I will use, but I'll replace as I use things. And so, yep, so I did that. So I can't wait to hear what else you have to say about that tomorrow. And the other thing too, I decided that garden back there with the corn, if, you know, because in 3-4 days, I'll be going back to Pelly's and Lowe's. Hopefully they still have some plants, but I have a plan B in case they don't. I brought out the seed trays that I had washed up and put up until next season, but they're going to be used to plant the fall crops. For one, I'm gonna do that mid-July. When the day I harvest the potatoes and garlic, that following day I will start my fall crops. that'll be mid-July, and they'll grow here in the greenhouse, and I'll let them stay until it's time to plant them out. Okay, and then those spots will be reserved for the fall crops, the ones that I don't put into the crate, because I am going to do probably triple to make sure I get a crop from the broccoli and from the cabbage. Okay, the other thing, if there's no plants at Lowe's or at Pelly's, then I'm going to plant that, I'm going to seed some pole beans. I didn't do pole beans this year. I did all bush beans. I have plenty of pole beans, and it's not too late to plant them. And because I have 2 more big trellises like that one I put in the keyhole garden for the blueberry bush, I can set one of those trellises, or even both of them, right in the center of that thing, lean it on the fence. Well, no, I won't do that. I'll just stand it up straight. They'll dig down into the soil and go into the ground, and they'll stand up straight. And those pole beans can climb for the rest of the summer. All right, you guys, we're at 21 minutes, so I'm going to let you go now. So I will talk to you tomorrow, and may God bless you all, and happy growing. And don't forget, stay hydrated. Bye-bye.